Hello everyone, Exio here and welcome to the channel. Been a while since I've made a video. Life has been a bit hectic for me, but now, lo and behold, Mecha Break release is only about a week away. On top of that, a lot of changes and new additions have been implemented into the game. The Mecha Break team recently just dropped a long live stream with a bunch of new information I wanted to go over in preparation for the Season 0 game launch. Note, this is my interpretation of what was said, so apologies if I get some of the info wrong, but nonetheless, let's get into it. For starters, what is Mecha Break for those that are new? Mecha Break is a multiplayer third-person action combat shooter that is centered around the high-paced mecha combat. It is primarily centered around PvP, but does include a semi-PvE game mode that I will discuss a little bit more later. On the Season 0 launch, Mecha Break will release with the inclusion of 15 strikers and 15 total maps tied down between the 3 different game modes on release. The game modes include Operation Verge, Ace Arena, and MashMak. Operation Verge is the 6v6 objective-based game mode, which will include about 10 of the maps. 5 of the maps are the old maps that we have seen, 5 will be new. These maps will be tied down to 5 different objective types throughout the Operation Verge game mode. It looks like 2 maps will be available for each objective type, one old and one new. Starting with the key seizure objective, this is kind of like capture the flag, but it's just one flag for both teams to fight over and take back to an objective point. The maps that will be included in this is the Eye of Mizra, which we have seen in the past, and then the new one is Visual Imbrium. The next objective-based game mode is Extraction Defusal, which I see it as a resource node capture kind of a game mode. There's going to be resource nodes that drop around the map, and the first team to capture a set amount will win. The maps for this include Cape Blanc Observatory, which we've seen in the past, and the new one will be the Stella Observatory Island. The next game mode is Node Capture, which, if you've played Call of Duty or anything, it is essentially domination. The old map included in this is the Crop Sinkhole, and then the new one will be the underwater, partial underwater map, Poseidon's Armory, which I'm very excited about. Next is Payload Escort, which the old map included is Palm Bay Harbor, and then the new map will be the Longman launch site. And then finally, Team Elimination's the last game mode available in Operation Verge, which the old map will include Graceland Sky City, and then the new one will be the Babylon Sky Fortress. Moving on from there, the second game mode is Ace Arena, which is the 3v3 team deathmatch mode, which includes some major new additions as well. So a couple new features they added is now you can switch to a different striker on death. Airdrop weapons will also occasionally spawn on the map. These are similar to the MashMak airdrops, but where we used to have loadouts for it. They will look the exact same, but these are randomized drop that will spawn across the map. So if you see these, I don't know how strong they will be, but it's worth giving it a go. 4 maps will be included with Ace Arena on release, which will include Shieling Bunker City, Octantis Industrial Zone, Combat Matrix, and then Space Carrier Trailblazer. And then finally, the last game mode to mention is MashMak, which will be the extraction shooter based game mode that we've seen before in the past. MashMak will have us spawn somewhere on the map to where you can loot and gather gear, and then go to an extraction point to be able to take all that gear back out of the game mode for us to use. Some of the loot that can be attained includes supply crates. I can go over some of that later on. But a few changes have been implemented into this game mode. The first big one includes the modular weapons, or the weapons that you can essentially bring into MashMak and use. These weapons can now be lost on death, and some of the weapons have been changed themselves. This includes a nerf to the autocannon, which were a menace in the last patch, so bless the Mecha Break team for finally doing something about that. And then they are also introducing difficulty tiers. There wasn't too much that was gone over for this, so honestly I'm still slightly lost. They explained that it will be different difficulties that you can select for the MashMak game mode, which I'm not sure how that will play into the PvP aspect. It was mentioned that there is a hard and expert mode. I don't know if the tiers of loot will increase depending on the difficulty that you select. I would assume so. Otherwise, I don't understand why you would pick a harder mode to go into this. Extraction points will also be changed depending on the difficulty that you have selected. So higher tier difficulty, there's going to be lower extraction points on the map. So it's a little bit more risky. And then another big thing that they gone through was character customizations. I won't lie, I didn't do too much with the character customizations during the tests for the game. I did customize my units quite a bit. I love that feature. I've just never been huge on character customizations. But for those that do love it, they have put in some great changes that I think you will love. I won't go into too much detail about it. I think it's best for you all to see, as there's just so many things. I don't think there is any way for me to reasonably go through all of them without you guys just seeing for yourself. One unique thing I will say is you can now set your character with a preset onto the market for other players to buy your created character model with the features that you have applied. You will receive about, from what it looked like on stream, about 80% of whatever price you had set the character to on the market, which I think this is a great implementation into the game. I don't know how we haven't seen more of this before, but players will now be rewarded more for their creativity, so I will absolutely be looking out for an amazing character model, as I will probably be one of the people that is a little bit lazy and won't go into too much detail about it. But I do love myself a good character model, so for those that are creative, put them on the market. Another thing you can customize now is your base. So I didn't look too hard into details for this, but there's a lot of things you can set up in your base, and then you can invite your friends over for them to view. Certain features will be locked behind game currency, but it's nothing like game breaking. It's like amenities that you can put into your base. Two of these include the gym and bar, which you can buy these access cards from the in-game shop to unlock those features within your base. I'll go more into how that will work in a bit, but you can earn these through in-game currencies, which let's just go over and talk about the Season 0 shop and the available items right now. Starting on Season 0, we're going to get 6 weapon skins that are available for us to obtain. The weapon skins all come from the Scorching Fire weapon set. So these include the Battle Halberd for the Elysinus, the Lance for the Panther, the Support Jetwing for the Lumine, the Heavy Battle Axe for the Welkin, Emergency Support Drone for Panaka, and then the Aerial Assault Form for Sky Raider. So the shop itself from Season 0 will include the Halberd, Lance, and Jetwing skins, along with the Gym and Bar access cards. For characters, for the player themselves, there will be a Circulus C racing suit set that you can get, an airdrop support drone box, and a few other patterns that you can apply to your striker, a frame, and then finally the supply crates. The 3 strikers that we will not be receiving for free will also be included in the shop. So I didn't mention this earlier, but the initial 12 strikers that we've seen in the past will be available to us on launch for free, as far as I know. The only 3 units we will have to personally unlock is Inferno, Stellaris, and Serenith. Do note, these items that was mentioned in the shop, I believe on the live stream they mentioned that you will need the battle pass to be able to purchase them, but the required currency that you will need can be earned in game. From my interpretation, it's you will need the battle pass to essentially have the option to buy these weapons using the currency that you have obtained, which I think it's completely fine. The units in themselves, the strikers, they do not require the battle pass to be purchased. You simply just need to earn the currency in game to unlock them. Another cool thing they added is a 1-week trial period. I don't know how you obtain them, but you might just be able to go to the striker in the shop and be able to test trial it. But you essentially get a 1-week pass for each of the new units. So if you want to play it for a week while trying to earn the currency to unlock it, and then that way you can see if you actually like the unit before actually committing your resources to unlocking that unit, which I think is a great implementation for the game. And then onto the other items I didn't discuss. So you might have mentioned that only 3 of the 6 weapons I mentioned were actually in the shop. The other 3 weapons, which is the heavy battle axe, emergency support drone, and aerial assault form for Welkin, Panaka, and Skyrider. From what I understand, these can only be obtained through a chance in the supply crate that you receive, either from the MashMak mode or directly purchasing from the shop. I don't know if this will be changed or if I misinterpreted it, but it seems like those 3 specific skins will need to be obtained through the loot boxes. And then, quick summary on some of the new strikers. So Stellaris is going to be our first lightweight melee striker, which we typically have only had medium and heavy, so I'm glad we finally have a fast melee unit. I will be playing a ton of Stellaris on coming out. He is going to be a very skill and combo based melee character. So kit details I will save for another time. If you're interested in that, let me know and I can make a separate video on that. Serenith is going to be our next light support unit, but it functions a little bit differently than the other ones that we've seen. Serenith, as far as I know, doesn't have any innate healing in their kit. The best way I can describe Serenith is a disruptor type support with a lot of damage and AoE potential. If you want a more detailed part of Serenith's kit, I can make a separate video on that and go through that as well. But for the sake of this video not being 2 hours long, I want to specifically just talk about the new basic features that will be coming to the game rather than unit and combat details that have changed. So I think that's the general information. There's a couple new events that are coming up with it as well. So there's... I find this a little bit funny. So there's a challenge on the start of the game called the Christians Challenge, which during the time that you play the game, if you happen to run into Chris, which is the CEO of Mecha Break, and you find him, I believe that you have a chance to earn rewards if you manage to defeat him in battle or something. I don't remember the exact details of this, but note, if you see Chris in one of your games, go hunt him down. And then there's also some invite rewards. I don't have too much details about this, but they are giving out a couple rewards from, I would assume, an invite code that you can give out to your friends and invite them to join on the Mecha Break game. Finally, Twitch drop. So I will be streaming this game live sometime on July 2nd for when the game launches. There are rewards for the first month of launch. So feel free to stop by the stream to either join me or just come by to receive some of the drops and watch some of the gameplay. Aside from that, the global launch of the game will be on July 1st, 2100 Pacific time. So for me, it's going to be 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will not be able to play during that time, unfortunately, so I will do my best to stream the next day. I'm thinking of making a separate video to go over the combat detail changes that have been made to the game, as well as the 2 new units. If you're interested on that, let me know. It'll give me a vague idea of what people would like to see. Aside from that, thanks for those that stopped by. Hope everyone is excited and ready to join in on the Mecha Break launch, and enjoy the rest of your day.